Kyle here from All Media Reviews. Here to do another video blog. I haven't done one of these in like a week, a little over a week. To show some stuff, tell some stuff, and update and everything like that. Of course, that's kind of what this has become. Um, Maybe I could just show the stuff first, and I'll just get into the more details and do some reviews and stuff. So where did it go here? This bag, and now I don't know what I did with the other. Oh, it's right here. Um, okay. So I got the Deer Hunter stuff that I ordered. Let's see, it was in May, maybe. North American EP vinyl, which I listened to this, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. It came out, and then that was right when Joyce started getting sick, so I didn't listen to it very many times. And I like some of the songs on here, but I mean, I don't know if this is much more memorable than the All Is That All Should Be, but they were in the film, in the documentary, sort of, not documentary, whatever you want to call it, the North American Tour EP documentary, which people need to see, but you know, um, it's just kind of burrito Tokyo, classic rock with a W, sort of Four Amigos. Four Amigos is probably the song I like the most on here, but yeah, I'm kind of a completist and loyalist to the Deer Hunter still at this point. So um, I got the package. I don't know if I got the biggest package with the EP, but or the North American tour set, but and then I got the soundtrack, and it's sort of, yeah. Andrew Brown is listed on here from Trios, written and performed by the Deer Hunter and Andrew Brown. Lyrics, yeah. So this is the actual soundtrack with a lot of instrumental bits, and I haven't listened to this. I don't think if there's a download code in here. It might be up on. I think it is. I think it is up on Spotify or some of the streaming services, but I mean, I know the EP was, but so this is like an orange colored record. Um, but let's see here. I mean, I don't know. It's very possible that some of this stuff will be things I'll be looking back on in the few down the road and really appreciate, like kind of like the a little bit, but some degree the Indigo Child. I like the theme from Indigo Child a lot, but uh there's your track list. Of course, Glebe, the character in the movie, in the documentary, if you haven't seen it. So, and I did get the Blu-ray, which uh, oddly enough, I have a few Blu-ray discs. I have a Marillion one. Joyce had the Monkeys series, and then there's a couple other Blu-rays I've got, but I don't have a Blu-ray player still. But I did buy this. It looks like a can of like a can of soup cover, you can open, but I do find it pretty good that the way what was written on the back here. The Deer Hunters North American Tour 2023. The Deer Hunter embarks on a normal run-of-the-mill tour after having been a band for nearly 20 years. Nothing even remotely eventful happens in this totally straightforward 90-minute documentary about the world's preeminent musical authors ordinaire. And it's got bonus features: the professor's study and 6 live performances. The study in the van or whatever, in the trailer they were in, like a library. And Glebe is in there with, was it? I think it was with Max. Um, but yeah, and there's a commentary. I don't know. So if you haven't seen it, you're a fan. I did the review a few. That was back in May, I think. Or no, it was actually maybe earlier, like March. Whenever I saw it, I think it was March. I saw it, but anyway. And so let's see. There's like one or two other things I can show. This is the aftermath of the state fair when I went to go see Shaletta. I got a picture with her, but she was really kind. She sent me this tote bag. Shaletta Brundage. Shaletta's funny in her podcast and stuff like that. I read Shaletta's newsletter. You should too. Shaletta newsletter. Sign me up. But anyway, nice tote bag, and then I I've been doing the Barnes and Noble stuff, and so I decided to finally become a member again. I signed up and got this bag. I've been reading. Still reading my aunt's book, After Effects, a memoir, complicated grief, and then about halfway through this, and then I did start. What did I mention? I showed this last time. Megan Devine's "It's Not Okay That You're Not Okay." I only read the intro though, but grief reading. Of course, I've also got this book from Matt. I mentioned it was like a journal, but this is not a journal. I thought it was like a interactive thing, but this one is. This is the same author, Journal for Grief, but um, and I'm still waiting on this comfort. This Barnes and Noble, that story where I encountered that person, that girl Emily, which still waiting on that. I don't know, but I may have a chance to talk to her again, maybe. So I could give a review of. I went to the Fluffy concert per se out at Treasure Island Casino in Red Wing, southeastern part of the state. Not fully. I mean, you can go further south than that. I mean, it's not as far as Rochester, so it's more east. Anyway, at the casino, kind of cool that they actually, when you park, they give you a shuttle ride to the door and back and forth live. I think I remember that, but I wish more things, more events do that. Some do, I guess, but anyway, Fluffy didn't go on. They had two opening acts, sort of. One was an MC guy named Martine. It's a cult following. Um, but the two guys, I get Long Cut or something North. I forget the guy that followed Martine. They were hit and miss, I guess. But Fluffy didn't go on stage till like maybe not 8:30, but it was like 8:15, and the doors were at 7. So it's kind of on a Sunday night. I was hoping it would start a little earlier than that, but he was good. I mean, my Joyce loved him. Used to watch the specials on Netflix and was always wanted to go see him and didn't get to, unfortunately. But in her honor and memory, I did go with her friends Bernetta and Belinda. And he was good. He told a lot of family related stories, and he did the voices. He did a Mickey Mouse voice, which was funny. Um, I guess the name of the tour was "Don't Worry, Be Fluffy," and I guess Bob McFerrin, people are trying to sue him for that now or something. But it's interesting though. One of the comments was like, "I bet you if you're not, you're under the age of 40, you may not even know the reference." Bobby McFerrin. Most people don't know from his one hit "Don't Worry, Be Happy," but he hasn't been as relevant. Although I think he worked with John Anderson at one point. But I mean, we wore I didn't have it. It's Hawaiian shirt um at the show and everything like that. I guess I could go get it. Um, that Bernetta gave me. We are all because Fluffy wears Hawaiian shirts too. So yeah, I was wearing this sucker. Um. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I did think about her a lot. Including actually there was he was a young kid. I don't know how old he was. This guy next to me, I was sitting next to in the row in front of them. Was pretty much not sold out, but he was sniffling throughout most of Fluffy's set. And eventually, I decided to move. That's what Joyce used to do, and she wouldn't blow her nose. She's like, "I like sniffling," and it would bother me. And so as much as this kid that was doing that was sniffling, after thinking about it, it's like, well, maybe that was something Joyce was trying to send a message to me. I don't know. Um, so yeah, did trivia last night. I'm going to the Min Animate Festival Thursday, probably Friday and Saturday. Going to another thing on Saturday, maybe involving this Film North. It's a film group. But the Min Animate thing that it's going to be, we used to go one night. It was only one night. It was like a 2 hour thing. It's going to be maybe a little shorter, but there's not going to be like a social thing afterwards, but maybe a Q&A. But at the main theater, I'm trying to figure out what my dinner situation is. At the main at that complex that the main theater is in, there's restaurants. The Astor Cafe maybe I'll end up at. Not exactly cheap, but I'm gonna be killing some time because I'm gonna go see the doctor and then go to kill some time near my work. But and then Stephen Wilson's next week. and then there's some other stuff. I'm seeing a nutritionist, and then Lehto and Wright, I did find out on October 30th have a CD, like an album release show, October 30th, in White Bear Lake. So I'm looking forward to that because their last record I liked a lot, and most of the records I enjoy. So progressive rock in Minnesota, like folk rock, um, and so that's next month, but toward the end of the month. And then the George Michael tribute on the 26th of October, and the Prince musical in November. I'm not. Oh, I don't want you walking on the records, Kaja. I'm not probably going to go to Dream Theater as much as I used to go to like every one of their shows and I'd promote them. I never miss them, but Parasomnia itself is not that I've hated it, but I'm just even if before everything that happened with Joyce happened, it's not. It's been hit and miss. It hasn't been the mood for. Why you ruining my records, Kaja? That's why I don't want you to jump up here. But um, so I posted on the Carrying Bridge and Facebook that I did finally get access to this guy or password stuff. But and I found photos of the KFAI the time we went to KFAI to rehearse, and she was all dressed up. I forgot about that. Joyce was. So there's a lot in here. There's like 770 photos, or I think some of them are like doubles and stuff. But there's a lot of emails, some of her writings, her papers, of course, because she was in grad school. That's the only thing I'll say is that among all the stuff I found so far in here, I haven't shared much of it. Only the 3 pictures from KFAI back in 2011. It was March 25th, 2011, to be more specific. There's not a lot from the History Center in terms of photos that I've found. A little bit, but more from General Mills. There's like a picture of her with Jolly Green Giant, and just do this here. Um, but yeah, I got the password reset and everything. So, but yeah, like it's weird how songs have been in my head, posted on the posts. Used to be the community page that like Dredge's Scissor Lock is haunting me right now. I haven't even listened to it. Why do you bite me? Did you like to bite? You think I like that? Cat likes to bite. He's gonna they do that. They play biting, but try biting that. Yeah, you can't. Um, Dredge's Scissor Lock. Pleasant Shade of Gray, part 9. Um, and one other part of that. Um, what was the other one? Marillion's the song Brave itself, because it got the lyric She's Gone. Not the She's Gone song, but and there's one or two other. Bravado by Rush has been in my head a bit. I haven't heard these. And then Kevin Gilbert Staring at Nothing, which I did hear that because Jim Newstead did a reaction bit, two parts to that. I don't know when the Shaming of the True multidisc is going to come, but I think it's going to be sometime soon because now we're in September. It's 25th anniversary. I gotta believe they're gonna be coming up with big announcements soon. And that whole progress of like all the stuff that I wanted to do, like the whole shaming tracks. The shaming tracks thing could be something that might be down the road just based on everything I'm going through. I don't know. I don't know. I want to do it based on like when I did the thud tracks. I was really thorough on that. If there's justice, I will. Um, But yeah, I mean, like I did listen to most of the 2 archive series, and there's actually what was it, City of the Sun, on that live recording from Philadelphia. I hadn't heard the bootleg. Really kind of cool. It's a little different. It's hearing it differently. Um, but maybe I'm gonna try to do a more proper review at some point. I don't know. But yeah, those songs have sort of been in my head, haunting me. I mean, it's just grief triggers. Everything with Joyce comes up. And at some point I'm hoping they're gonna um not be so regular, so pressing, because it just doesn't seem like she's gone. She is gone. um and just doing stuff, dealing with stuff, and not having her here. um it's just in like making dinner and having dinner every night. I'm doing certain things. I'm like gonna basically Barnes and Noble is gonna be like my Cheers, maybe like that and a few other places. I'm getting to know people at the one out in Egan. Um, I don't know, and this person out in Edina, the Edina one, um, and then make through like these destination walks while I still can, while maybe going to like the malls and stuff to walk. Um, but no, I mean that's kind of it. I mean, I'm trying to like I guess I just found out the Beavis and Butthead season was uploaded last or started maybe one episode a week or something like that. There's a clip of the old Beavis and Butthead talking to the old Todd, and Todd's a plumber. He finds this like ring for some woman, and then I need to watch that. I don't know if it's like one episode a week or like on Comedy Central now, or they upload the whole season. But Beavis and Butthead, Pluribus, the Vince Gilligan show with Ray Seahorn from Better Call Saul, played Kim. The premise is like everyone in the world is happy, and Kim Ray Seahorn's character is not necessarily happy, and that's why she's like an exception. Kind of Twilight Zone-ish in some ways, maybe. I don't know how dark it's gonna be. I hope it's not too dark. I hope it has that balance of we had with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, where it has some serious like dramatic parts, they're twists, but there's still that kind of black comedy or comic relief in there. Um, but that's on Apple TV. And of course, Stranger Things, the final season, which is coming up in a few months, and there's like one or two other shows, and there's movies and stuff like that that I haven't seen, like Happy Gilmore 2 and Naked Gun, and the Eddie Murphy documentary. I don't know when that's coming. Hopefully soon. That Joyce really wanted to see. It's too bad she's not going to be able to. But yeah, I was just like talking about that whole experience with the KF meeting Joyce at KFAI, and then I had that vision of like Muse song Luis Luisa always made me so sad and melancholy, wanting to go back in time. I think it was like it was probably even before we got married in 2016 that I like wanted to have the experience of like that honeymoon butterflies. Like she really likes me. I guess in a sense, if there was a woman out there I end up meeting and the same thing sort of happened, I could go through that again, and then I'd have the sad melancholy nostalgia, want to do that again too, probably. But the thing is, like, my grandfather passed away. Remember, I associated the Antlers album Hospice with because he was in hospice. And he passed away in November of 2009. And I met Joyce in late January 25th, to be more specific, in 2011. Um, it was a year and a month, like 13 months later. We would frequently tell Joyce about my grandfather, my dad's dad. I can pretty much be certain someone I end up with, hopefully I will find someone at some point, but they'll be hearing a lot about Joyce. I mean, I don't have it now, but I am wearing her rings on a necklace. It's upstairs right now. I bought a little gold necklace chain thing at TJ Maxx. I want to go get that blanket. I saw a Peanuts blanket that she would have wanted. I think I'm gonna buy that, but at TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx, especially the one in Egan. That strip mall in Egan, I'm gonna become attached to. But between that and Lund's and the PetSmart and and of course Barnes and Noble. But yeah, I'm getting to know like some of the people out there, the staff people. But I don't know. It's nothing I would have anticipated. Although I'll admit, years ago when I was single and I dated some women here and there over a period of like 5, 6 years. It was like I'd go like a year or two where I was dating no one, but um I always wanted to like go to a cafe, and I could still do that actually, where it was like my Cheers, but it might become more of like at Barnes and Noble. I don't know, it depends because it's quiet there. Because like last Saturday, I went out to this Mediterranean restaurant called Ansari's. My friend John was maybe gonna meet me out there, but he didn't. He was like I wasn't able to communicate with him, but in time. But so I was just watching one of our friends, this Becky, was belly dancing out there, so I got to talk to her at least. But I was just there, and like there were people talking, but I wasn't socializing with them, so I just like I'm gonna go to Barnes and Noble. So I don't know. It's just to compensate for the lack of someone coming home, my better half, Joyce, I'm gonna have to go to someone else, and whether it be going to walks or going to Barnes and Noble or I don't know. I'll see if this is gonna be a regular thing and just doing like the events that are coming up. Joyce's friend Shane, like I said, he's not probably gonna come on the camera. I don't think. I doubt it, but he's gonna come in October, I think. And we'll do some stuff. There's stuff that I'm planning to do. There are albums that got announced. There's I don't know when the War on Please album is actually releasing, but I haven't listened to. But the second single, Paul Meany's, it's not called Motivational Speaker. It's called like something time. Forget the name of it. I'll put it in the description. Paul Meany of Mute Math. He's put on a debut album on our anniversary on the 24th of September. So I'm looking forward to that. And then was it November 7th? There's a Midlake album, which I love their last album. It's one of my top 5 records that year. And then there's another one that just got announced. It was on November 7th. But you know, I mean, like I said, new albums have sort of been secondary. Like music in general is just so difficult, and hopefully the switch will be flipped in my approach on this. Dealing with a lot, just aftermath of joys and just other stuff like the affairs and just taking care of this place, trying to take care of myself, and then try to do a lot of this stuff, these events, and this anniversary dinner, and going to a soccer game October 4th, I think, and then stuff with my HOA, and it's a lot of on my plate, and then all the grief stuff I'm trying to take in. Um, High holidays are coming up because I'm Jewish. I'm spending more time at the synagogue and everything, so it's it's a lot. So that's partly why I haven't, it's like stuff like music and like I do want to watch the Beavis and Butthead stuff because those are easy. They're quick little, they're not long episodes, and it's an escape because it's comedy. Um, Joyce herself was not a Beavis. She was a Beavis and Butthead fan in the '90s, but then she said, then I kind of saw the light and decided they were really dumb. Like, well, fine. Um, but yeah, I mean, then the projects with all her, with the stories and that I've written, a lot of anecdotes that continually come up with them. I'm going to do the tribute at KFAI. Maybe I did or didn't mention in the last episode. Maybe January 25th, 2011 was when I met her. And so January 25th, 2026, I'm going to try to do some sort of celebration. That's a Sunday, like a celebration at the station. But then Georgia, my friend who does Sonic Pleasure, had that act. I feel like explained this exact thing again, but she's said that she would be up for doing a tribute show. So yeah, I think I already went over this anyway, like last time. Maybe not, but yeah, I have some clips. Maybe we can put that. Maybe I just typed it out. I have recordings of Joyce on KFEI, so we might be able to play some clips from her, and play some of her music and just talk about her. But um, yeah, I mean that we have many months to prepare. That's assuming the weather's not like a blizzard out and everything like that. But that would be Georgia's show is at 2 a.m. though, so it'd be like go to bed early or something. It's a um, um, Monday morning 2 a.m. So anyway, yeah, I mean that's kind of what I've been doing over the last week and change. There was something I'm not remembering. Um, I want to go to Renaissance Festival. I haven't done that. I want to go to the apple orchard. They brought the caramel apples back. That's kind of nice. Um, and want to go to the candy store. I mean, maybe with Shane, because Shane, her friend from Oshkosh, the Monkeys fan, loves retro things. So we can squeeze all that stuff in like a day and a half. Probably on Saturday, a lot of it on Saturday. I don't know about the apple orchard, but I could see him definitely wanting to check out the candy store. We go to Paisley Park, and I have to maybe bring that up, but if we could do both, that would be ideal on Saturday. But he wants to go record shopping, and we might be able to do some of that on Friday. I don't know, because I didn't get Friday off, unfortunately. So it'd be nice to have like all the day on Friday and Saturday, because he's gonna leave. Sunday is actually the George Michael thing, so but um, yeah, I think that's. I might be talking to these people, part of the Twin Cities geek community, sci-fi fans and stuff like that. Um, and they have like a hangout right near me actually, like once a month on Sundays. But just trying to meet new people, I guess that's part of it. But part of it is just connecting with people. For some reason, like the people at Barnes and Noble, the staff members, partly they're just to work in that industry, that particular job, even if it's like a second job, you have to be obviously it's customer service, so you got to be friendly and but I don't know. It's almost like the therapist I've talked to. Almost everyone I've talked to at Barnes and Noble, cordial and nice, and it's like and I tell them Joyce's story and everything. But yeah, no, that's about it. I mean, I want to get back to the music. Well, in sports, of course, the Vikings won last night. Oddly, they came back. JJ McCarthy on his first game. Sports might be a good diversion because I don't associate sports with Joyce. And now that the NFL season started, the Timberwolves will be starting at some point too. Um, I don't have to worry about it. I don't know, watch the game and you have to do this or something like that. Although I still am doing stuff that, like the shopping part to some degree that Joyce loved to do, just like going to TJ Maxx. But I don't know. I mean, it's the sort of thing where I used to love sports. It was like my number one thing when I was younger. And now it's sort of it depends. But to me, more it's right now it's important to just kind of take in and meet new people and do different things. But sports are certainly in that mix. Just in my own therapy with realization, the woman I was with for 14 years is not here anymore. But I gotta figure out what works for me and how to face that reality and just live. And try to worry about my own health. That's part of it too, and my work and everything too. And you know, um, I'm hoping a few months from now, like next year maybe, be looking back on some of this and be able to sort of I'll be at peace and more comfortable. It won't be simple, of course. I'm always gonna miss her. And I'm going to the cemetery, of course. I'm bringing like a chair, but like Casey Kasem, they played Power of Love, which was the song we danced our first dance at our wedding. It was like a Q Lewis song. The lyrics kind of fit that, but I mean, she's always gonna be there. Like as we thinking about her, missing her, and different life situations that I run into that I wish she was here. But I don't know. It's like between all these experience reaching out and talking to other people on the phone and like making food for myself and all that stuff and figuring out a schedule. And then maybe, who knows, maybe I'll end up having people come over, certain people like occasionally, or maybe there'll be someone special, as I posted in the blog actually back in 2011, there was someone special that I saw take me home tonight with. Maybe, it's like, is my heart big enough to give it to someone else? In theory, I would say yes, but when it comes down to it, like the whole monogamy, you know, you know, I love her. I still love Joyce. I will always love her, and whoever I might be with would have to understand that, and I would think that many people would. If the situation was reverse in that I was single and I met some woman that was a widow, but she loved her husband, but her husband's gone, I wouldn't have a problem her talking about her husband a lot and doing stuff that her husband loved. I don't know. I don't know. Again, I talked about this a few weeks ago. I don't know if that's the kind of thing where, with some certain people, like in that situation where I would be in that situation, or someone would be, you know, with me. At first, they're kind of that's part of what they enjoy or like they appreciate and connect with someone on that. They're very empathic, but ultimately, the comparisons are just kind of hearing about them gets to be a little difficult. So I don't know. It's it's tough. It's a tough a tough position to be in. I got to experience love for 14 years at least. I'm fortunate for that. Some people never do. Some people go their whole lives and don't really, even people that get married that don't really love each other. And Joyce and I, as I said, we had we had some disagreements and arguments, frustrations per se at points. But I loved her and she loved me, even though we joked about sex, like you don't love me, you don't love me, But I think when it came down to it, I did as much as I could to show her that I loved her, and she loved me, in the same sense. Even though sometimes I felt like we were doing mostly her stuff, or we were focusing on her stuff. It wasn't maybe a 50-50 balance always, but I didn't care enough. I had mentioned before, I didn't care enough. I just wanted to make whatever I could do to make her happy that I could do. Um, and that's tough because I still feel that way. And so how am I going to actually be able to tell someone else, well, I still feel that way about her, what she gave me. But, this at the same time, have that same sort of feeling and experience and approach and mentality for someone else. Because part of the reason why I did that with Joyce was that it made me feel good to see her feel good, to make her happy when I could. Maybe sometimes I felt like I didn't make her happy enough, but that was partly to do with her personality being sort of, I have high standards, and but when she would laugh or when she would sort of be sarcastic and I'd get on her and I would laugh, that was always enjoyable. I could see that same approach when the feeling you get when someone you're with, that you make someone feel good, or you make someone laugh, or you get a response, an emotional response out of someone that they don't absolutely despise, that's a great feeling. And so the same thing could happen with someone else for something, whatever. So I don't know. Is it a selfless approach? Sometimes, but I'm definitely sometimes selfish because I love my stuff still. And with Joyce, there was stuff that um, I love that I didn't necessarily do as much. Like I did more when I wasn't with her, that I would like to do more of now that I'm not with her, as much as I would trade not being able to do that stuff still to have her back in a heartbeat. But so anyway, I feel like I have a headache right now, unfortunately. I have to take Tylenol. The problem is that it raises my blood sugar in the morning. I hate that. So, but yeah, this just life, September 9th, 2025. It's hard to believe the things are the way they are, but I don't know how many of these video blogs I'm gonna end up doing. I want to work on the podcast at some point, and but for now, this is kind of another outlet between writing and filming like this, and then doing this research and posting these photos. And I was hoping there'd be video in there. I didn't find any video, unfortunately. There was a movie that she did with her friend Sarah, a couple movies, but she lost it or something, and it's not compatible. It was like the Lost Blue Scarf or something, the Joyce's Lost Scarf, and then there was another one that was like a Bollywood thing based on Big Bang Theory. They made when we were going through our wedding prep, and she was going over to Sarah's because Sarah was helping her with the centerpieces and everything. So that's what Sarah told me. So anyway, that's about for it for now for this video blog. But thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.